Welcome in. It's a Monkey Mar. If it's your first time here, welcome. Before we get into today's video, please make sure you click that subscribe button, the bell for notifications, and of course the like. With that, let's get into Letecia Stauch's Family Tree, Part 7. Before we get into today's video, I am going to touch on a few comments on my last video. One comment is from, I guess, Chance's side of the family. I'm going to leave the name out of it. And here she states, why don't you just stick to talking about Tisha and what she did and leave all of my family out of this? Okay, so she's the niece to Uncle Mitchell and Teresa Oxendine that I guess lived in Pensacola. And I'm sorry for your loss. She informs that Teresa passed away in 2016. The only reason why we were looking into your side of the family was because a few of us were curious of one, the Landon in his obituary, and two, the connection to Florida. I did not mean any disrespect, and I will grant your wishes. I'm very easygoing. Okay. Look up Lynn Locklear. She was in prison for abusing her 2-year-old who was murdered. Oh, gosh. Okay. Glowing Ember. This is the one that I'm curious about. Look again. Something doesn't look right in changing Deborah's father to James Fred Sampson. He was born in 1908. The obituary states his wife, Ruby Scott Sampson, preceded him in death. I agree. It does not say he is survived by a wife. Therefore, Betty Lou Sampson, born in 1945, would not be his wife. Also, Sampson is Betty Lou's maiden name. Look at her father, Chafin Sampson, born in 19. James Fred Sampson would have been 47 when Betty Lou was born in 66. When Deborah Locklear was born, also his daughter is Deborah Lowry, not Locklear. I think you have the wrong man. It would make more sense that Milton Ray Locklear was her father, hence Deborah's maiden name is Locklear. Just something to recheck. Alright guys, let's recheck that out. Let's get back into James Fred Sampson's obituary, and then I am going to look at that leaf because I know what you're saying, but somehow there is a connection with Brenda Acquired. Okay, so let's get into the family tree, but first let me say there's some comments on the last post also. She doesn't know what she's talking about. This one doesn't have this kid, this sister. Number one, I never said I did know what I was talking about. Number two, I actually enjoy family history, and I'll tell you, I find, I'm going to say this for the last time, the Lumbee Indians to be very interesting. Okay, I'm very intrigued. So if I'm doing something wrong, which this is all an investigation and a puzzle, because I'm trying to figure out things with everyone. So stop being mean. There's too much going on in the world. And if you know something, then you should let me know where I'm wrong. Okay, with that, let's get into Bessie Scott. Okay? She was 97. She died May 30th, 2017. Her husband is Chafin Sampson. Daughter Betty Lou Sampson, 2 sisters, 8 brothers. She is survived by a son, Horace, and Ivani Sampson, 5 grandchildren, Deborah, Rachel or Raquel, Karen, Horace Jr., and Randy. Okay. So, we've got Bessie Scott with Chafin. They have Horace Sampson Jr. and Betty Lou Sampson. And yes, I know James Fred probably has to go, but I'll show you something in a minute. Alright, so they have those two. Now, Randy Allen is part of Chafin. So let's go look at his obituary just to make sure we have these two seeds planted well. Okay, Chafin Chase Sampson, 85, of Jacksonville, formerly of Lumberton, died Monday. He was born September 7th, 1918 in Robeson County. Reverend William June and Maddie Chavis Sampson. He was preceded in death by Betty Lou Sampson. Surviving are his wife, Bessie Sampson, two sons, Horace of Lumberton and Randy Allen of Jacksonville. 7 grandchildren, Deborah, Karen, Horace Jr., Christopher, Brooke, Cameron, and Raquel. 9 great-grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren. So this is it's like untangling a knotted ball of yarn. So do we have that right? Chafin and Bessie have Horace and they have Betty Lou Sampson. Chafin has Randy Allen, who is from Jacksonville, Florida. Okay, so we'll get rid of Fred in a minute. So we know we've got these two right. Let's jump down to Betty Lou and see what else we can find on her. Not a whole lot comes up. Okay, so Bessie Lou and Chafin are correct. Betty Lou Sampson, supposedly Deborah Sue Locklear's mom, Letecia Evil's grandma. Here's her obituary. Betty Lou Sampson, 56, died Thursday at Duke University, born August 4th, 1945. She was the daughter of Chafin and Bessie. Okay, Chafin and Bessie. Surviving are her 2 daughters, Deborah Sue Locklear, right here, and her husband Stephen, which I haven't even begun to look, both of Pembroke, and Raquel Sampson Lewis of Lumberton. Her mother Bessie Scott Sampson of the home, her father Chafin Sampson of Jacksonville. A brother Horace Sampson of Lumberton, 5 grandchildren, a great-grandchild, and a special friend, Plummer Hunt Jr. of Lumberton. And I'm so nosy that I even went to look at Plummer. I get so carried away that it's like hours later, and I'm like 7 generations deep. Like, what are you doing? Okay, so we've got the right Betty Lou. Betty Lou has 2 daughters, Deborah and Raquel. Now, I've seen Rachel spelled E-L, just the A-L at the end, and this is A-E-L. So let's see if we can figure out her correct spelling. So Bessie Lou has Rachel, and Bessie Lou has Deborah. Okay, so we need to get rid of James Fred Sampson. But somehow Brenda is connected as a sister-in-law because Brenda is in Thomas B. A. Acquard's obituary. So I'm just going to move James Fred Sampson's family over to this page. So, I know, it's crazy. So that we can add Brenda Accord, since she was renting cars for Letecia Evil. Okay, so back to the real tree. So we need to get rid of James. We're just going to delete him off the tree. And then we need to, let's see if that took care of everything. Okay, it did. Perfect. Okay, take 2. So Betty Lou Sampson, American Indian, age 56, birth date August 4th, 1945, birth date August 4th, 1945, in Robinson, North Carolina. Okay, so Duke University. And then here it said Duke University. Okay. This is definitely her. We're not considered. Okay, so household member name Betty Lou Sampson. And this is Chafin and Betsy. I keep saying Betsy. I know it's Bessie. Never married. So was Betty Lou Sampson never married? So who is Deborah Locklear's father? Does anyone know? A family member? Deborah? My email is in the description. I would love for you to email me. Okay, so death date July 18th, 2002. This has got to be her. I get confused with Betty Lou Sampson and the mother, her mother. Okay, let's work our way down. So she was never married. Horace is married to an Ivani. We'll add his wife in a moment, but now it's time to add Deborah's children. Okay, let's add her children. Who should we add first? Dakota. We'll get all of his mail stuff. Alright. And he's with James Lowry. Or is... I'm going to be confused again. Yes. Okay. Dakota's in. Let's add... I'm sorry, Julie. Another child. Okay, so we've got Julie in. Dakota in. Deborah was with James. And then prior to that with Tommy Ray, and they had Letecia Eve. Okay, so we're good on this. Okay, James has a child that does not belong to Deborah Locklear. So let's make sure we've got the children right. Deborah was with James, and he was hit by a car, and he passed away. There's Dakota and Julie, and James has Amy. Tommy Ray Harden and Deborah Sue have Letecia Evil. Alright, so let's go back into the mother's obituary and see if we can find Milton Locklear, because I still have him on this tree as the father, but no idea who he is. Alright, let's go back and see if we could figure out who Milton Locklear is, or anything else with Betty Lou. That's what I think we need to do, because if it says that she was never married, I do not know. I am back, and it's only been 24 hours since I was going to look into Betty Lou and Milton Ray, and I found Deborah Sue Locklear's birth record. Milton Ray Locklear, Betty Lou Sampson. And you can't make it up. The birth date is here. Where is she? Right here. 64, February 5th, Locklear, Deborah Sue, female, Indian, Lumberton, Milton Ray Locklear is the father, and Betty Lou Sampson is the mother. Now, I've been looking for a Milton Ray, and I can only find one Milton Ray that would even be the age range and exist in Lumberton. So let me show you that before. And he is back in the tree. So we've got Betty Lou with Milton Ray. These two have Deborah Sue Locklear. I'm not sure if he's living or if he's deceased. I can't find an obituary, but I'm still not finished looking. But I did find a Milton Ray Locklear. I found one that was born August 14th, 1945, from Lumberton, Robinson County, North Carolina. So let me save this to the tree, because if this is not the Milton Ray, and I'm sure I'll get yelled at if it's not, we can always take it out later. Okay, so what else will I get into before I started digging through birth index records for Milton Ray Locklear? And to be honest, there are not a lot, but this is the one that I did find. Born August 14th, 1945, Locklear, Milton Ray. Wait, Stanley Locklear is the father, and Cara Bell Jacobs is the mom. Now, of course, there could be 500 Milton Ray Locklears, and this is not the one, but I will continue to look for more Milton Ray Locklears in that time frame, but this is what I found. And I do not believe in coincidence, so I'm going to go with it. Okay, I want to real quick get back into the family tree, and I want to add Brenda Acquard to the tree. So this is James Fred Sampson's obituary, and we know that he is not Letecia Evil's grandfather, but he is the father. So here we go. Surviving are a foster son, Willie Scott Chavis of Lumberton, 3 daughters, Deborah Lowry, Letecia Hardin, both of Lumberton, and Brenda Acquard and her husband, T.A. Now, T.A. was Thomas Bryan Acquard, this gentleman. So it's only showing the one photo, the man that had the mustache. But let's go ahead and put in Fred Sampson's children, James Fred Sampson. Okay, so we've got... Okay, so let's add them, and I will be right back. I decided to look into Ruby Viola Scott Sampson to make sure that she was actually Brenda Acquard's mother. We know that James Fred Sampson's the father. But we do not see any listing of a memorial, families left proceeding by. So I'm going to look into that, but I did find the connection to Deborah S. Locklear and to this family. So Ruby Viola Scott, James Fred Sampson's wife, who is, I'm pretty sure they're both the parents of Brenda Acquard. Her mother and father is Ida Louise, and they called her Mrs. Ida Scott Lowry Locklear. She is Ruby's mother, but she's also Bessie Scott Sampson's mother. So the connection is that Ruby Viola and Letecia Evil's grandmother, Betty Lou Sampson's mother, Chafin Sampson's wife, is the sister to Ruby Viola. So that's mom, Ida Louise, Ruby Viola Scott, Bessie Scott Sampson. So I am going to add them back into this side of the tree, but I will do that when I am done with this video. So there is the connection that makes Brenda Acquard Thomas Bryan Acquard, Deborah Locklear's brother-in-law. Okay, so Dakota. Where is Dakota? We've got a couple of leaves. I do not know where Dakota James Lowry lives, but I do know that the only place I find him is living at home with his mom on Deep Branch Road. So people say he's working in Pensacola. I wish I could find the connection, but I'm digging and I am looking. The only connection I see is to Pensacola, Florida, and to Jacksonville, Florida. So guys, with that, I am going to wrap up this video and work on a new one, which will be out in a couple of days. And with that, it is a wrap. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for coming in. Please like or dislike, whichever you prefer. And subscribe. Everyone stay safe out there from the COVID-19. And don't forget to stay vigilant. Everyone have a great day or a great night wherever you are in the world.